Deputy Mayor Leach and her staff and the build organization to Sharon Baptist Church. Just to share with you very quickly why this is important for us, and it's really appropriate that we started at Macedonia and ended here, is that this is our 140th year in existence, and we started in Macedonia. Members of Macedonia walking home from church noticed children playing on a Sunday and thought they should be in Sunday school, so they established a Sunday school here in a horse stable that was right behind this building on Watco Street. And from that, we grew into a church, and we've been in Sandtown for the entire 140 years of our existence, and we've been in this building for well over 100 years. And so we are not strangers here, so we were born here, we're part of the Sandtown community. It's important to us because the early leadership of Sharon was so supportive of this community that the very first school for black children in West Baltimore was started by our first pastor, Reverend William Alexander. When the city and the state refused to create a school for black children in West Baltimore, he decided to do something about it, and he started the school. And on the first day, they had some 200 children show up, ready and wanting to learn. And from there, it just continued to grow. And he continued to do some great things, started other businesses in the community. Southern Insurance Company was one of the businesses he started because black folk couldn't get insurance. And so he said, well, let's start our own insurance company. And so it's really about entrepreneurship and about making sure that we didn't depend on others to do for us what we could do for ourselves. And he was also the founder of the Afro-American newspaper. He was the first publisher, and then Mr. Carl Murphy purchased the paper from him and purchased another paper and combined the two and grew it to become the great newspaper that it is now. And so I share all of that just to say, that there's history in this community of people who have worked hard, have done great things, who love their community, and it's important that our children know the history in our community, especially at a time when so many people are trying to get rid of our history. So we have to continue telling our story. The building across the street, Annie Wiggins Brown lived in. You may not know who Annie Wiggins Brown is, but it's named after her. The church owns that building. She was the first person to play the role of Bess in Porgy and Bess. And she's so important because Gershwin was going to name it Porgy. And then he heard her sing and saw her playing the role and said it couldn't be a secondary role. It had to be a co-leadership role. He changed the name to Porgy and Bess. And unfortunately, she was living in Norway when she passed. She wanted to come back to visit, but she was living in Norway when she passed. And so those are the kind of people. Then that's just a small example. Many of you know of people who have come out of Sandtown and who have been part of Sandtown. And so I'm sharing it with you just so that you will know that we have to always continue to have that Sankofa moment where we go back and we pick up those things that were good and those things that worked, some of the self-help things that we did. We can do it again. And we can make this neighborhood the great neighborhood that we all know it already is, but the greater neighborhood that it can become. Sharon is committed to it, and so we're here just to be supportive. We're not here to try to give leadership, because you have great leaders in Sandtown already. We're here to support the city council. We're just here to support the leadership that you have. Reverend Parker is our minister. We have given her the role of being our minister of community outreach to make sure she's working with the community organizations in Sandtown to find out what you need and what we can do to be supportive of the community. And we're going to continue to do that. About 30 years ago, we took a vote as a congregation that rather than moving out like so many of our sister churches were doing, that we would stay. And so we have continued with that commitment because we think we're needed here and we want to continue to be a part of that. So again, welcome, and I'll turn it over to whoever the next speaker is. Rick? Give Rick a hand.
Deputy Mayor Leach, we want to thank you and your staff and the city officials that showed up for us today. This was very important to us and the people within the community. A lot of the things you saw were the result of them meeting with us and telling us what their concerns were. And the fact that you had a sanitation truck with you, didn't you? So, some of the things you saw, we realize they can't be done overnight, but some can be. And we're hoping at the very least that some of those things get done by May, late May. But then there are other things we know are going to take a lot longer, like the posting of the parking signs, getting the police involved, the vacant housing. So I think what we want to hear and what we want to take back to the members of the community is, what can we expect to see done in a reasonable period of time? Thank you.
And you heard the question.